Jai Gurudev student, good morning. Today we will do valence bond theory. This is BBT. Now consider this is one hydrogen atom with nucleus Na and electron Ea. This is another hydrogen atom with nucleus Nb with electron Eb. When they are far away from one another, then there is no force of attraction between them. When they come closer, now in this case, first of all you remember nucleus and electron, there is a force of attraction between them, and nucleus and electron, there is a force of attraction between them. When they come closer, there is new forces are developed. So new forces are already, we have force 1, force 2. The new forces are, this is nucleus of the second one, electron of the first one, this is force 3. Nucleus of the first one, electron of the second one, this is force 4. So these are your attraction forces, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, and these two are repulsive forces, or this is between electron of two atom, this is the repulsive force number 5, and this is nucleus, there is repulsive force number 6. So when this net attraction forces greater than or equal to net repulsion forces, then there is a bonding occur. So for that we have drawn a potential energy curve like that. This is your potential energy curve. Two atoms are away from one another. When they come closer to one another, there is a force of attraction increases. And remember, attraction is negative energy, repulsion is positive energy in chemistry. So when they come closer, more and more attraction takes place, and at this point, this is your internuclear distance. At this point, nearly at about 76 picometer, when the two nucleus comes at 76 picometer, there is a bonding takes place. This is potential energy. So what we have learned in valence bond theory, where if two atoms are away from one another, then there is only force of attraction exists between the electron and nucleus of the atoms. When these atoms comes closer, then there are new forces developed. New forces developed. 1, 2 is existing forces already there. 3 between the nucleus and electron of the other atom, and 4 also between nucleus and electron of the other atom. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 are the net attraction, and 5, 6 are repulsion. Electron repulsion, nucleus repulsion. If net attraction is more than net repulsion, then bonding occurs. So this is what we have learned. On the next page, we are doing orbital overlap concept. According to this, the covalent bond is formed between atoms due to overlap of the orbitals belonging to the atoms having opposite spins of electron. So that part remember, opposite spins of electron. Now if I do the formation of N2 by valence bond theory, nitrogen 1s2 2s2 2p3. This one I have underlined because this is your valence electron. Now if you draw the box diagram for the same, you are getting, this is 2 electron here, this is 1 electron, 2 electron, 3 electron. Now for this nitrogen also we are doing box diagram, but in this case the 3 electron in p orbital we have to show by opposite spin. So in the orbital overlap concept, that when the bonding takes place, it takes place with the opposite spins of electron. So this is first bond between two nitrogen atom, second bond, third bond. So we have N triple bond N. Now next are important one we are starting today. This is your types of orbital overlap. Depending upon the overlapping, covalent bonds are divided into two parts. One is your sigma bond, another one is your pi bond. So sigma bond happens due to head-on overlapping, pi bond happens due to your sidewise overlapping. Now in sigma bond, if you take the sigma bond, if one s orbital like that, another s orbital like that, so they are always head-on overlapping, forming a sigma bond. Now one s orbital with one p orbital forming again sigma bond. Now important point is that if two p orbital comes together, they are forming sigma bond, but if they remains in x-axis and x-axis, they are forming sigma bond. Now pi bond is formed by due to sidewise overlapping. So if this is py, this is py, sidewise overlapping will be like that. So you have to remember, in sigma bond for the p orbital, this lobe and this lobe, only one lobes are involved from each p orbital to have sigma bond. But in case of pi bond, both the lobes are involved. Now this lobe and this lobe, so this lobe attachment there, this lobe attachment there. So both the lobes are involved in case of pi bond. In case of sigma bond, only one lobes are involved. So this is your overlapping between the sigma bonds. Now we are taking okay, next point we are taking next video.